My husband wanted my sister to be his wife for a day. His brother wanted me for life. My husband Damien had this way of dropping bombs like he was asking me to pass the salt. We were eating dinner, pasta I'd made after a 12-hour day at the firm because Damien said he was too tired to cook even though he'd been home since 3. I was twirling spaghetti around my fork when he said, "So my 10-year reunion is next month and I need Nikki to come with me." I kept chewing because I assumed I'd misheard him. Nikki was my younger sister, prettier than me by conventional standards, thinner than me by 15 pounds, and unemployed by choice for the last 2 years because she was finding herself on my dime. I paid her rent. I paid her car insurance. I paid for the highlights she got every 6 weeks because she said dark roots made her feel less confident. I didn't realize I was also paying for her to attend my husband's high school reunion too. I swallowed my pasta and said, "Why would Nikki be coming to your reunion?" Damien didn't even look up from his phone. "Because I need her there," he said. Like that explained everything. I set my fork down and waited for him to elaborate because surely there was more to this sentence. There wasn't. He just kept scrolling through whatever app had his attention more than I did. "Damien," I said, and he finally looked up with that expression he always wore when I was about to inconvenience him with questions. "Why do you need my sister at your high school reunion instead of your actual wife?" He sighed like I was being exhausting, like I was the one who'd just said something insane over pasta. "Because I told everyone I married her," he said. "Back when we first started dating. My buddies met her once at that barbecue and they assumed she was my girlfriend. I never corrected them. I stared at him. I kept staring at him. I was waiting for the part where he laughed and said he was kidding, where this became some weird joke I didn't find funny but could at least categorize as humor. That part never came. "You told your friends you married my sister," I repeated slowly, making sure I understood the words coming out of his mouth. "It's not a big deal," he said, picking his fork back up like we were done discussing this. "It was easier than explaining. And honestly, babe, you know how those guys are. They're shallow. If they remember Nikki being hot and they've spent 10 years thinking I locked that down. I can't show up with someone different and explain that actually I married the other one. The other one. I'd graduated top of my class at law school. I'd made partner at 33. I'd bought us this house, the cars in our driveway, and every piece of furniture Damien was currently sitting on. And I was the other one. I could feel something cold spreading through my chest, but I kept my voice steady because that's what I did. I stayed calm. I was reasonable. I didn't make scenes. "So your solution," I said, "is to bring my sister as your fake wife to a reunion full of people I'll never meet. And I'm supposed to just be okay with that?" Damien reached across the table and grabbed my hand like he was comforting me through my own confusion. "It's one night," he said, squeezing my fingers. "Nobody will ever know. These people don't matter. I'll make it up to you, I promise. We'll do a nice dinner after, just us. Whatever restaurant you want." He smiled at me with those blue eyes that used to make my stomach flip, and I realized something that should have been obvious years ago. He thought I was stupid. He thought I was so desperate to keep him happy that I'd agree to anything if he just promised me a nice dinner afterward. And the worst part? He was probably right. He'd been training me to accept less since the day we met. "I don't know, Damien," I said, and I watched his face change from charm to irritation in half a second. "It just feels weird. Why can't you just tell them the truth?" He pulled his hand back. "Because I've been lying for 10 years, Carissa. What am I supposed to say now? Hey guys, funny story, I actually married her boring older sister who works all the time." That's humiliating. Boring, older, works all the time. Each word landed like a small punch to the chest, but I didn't react because I never reacted. I just absorbed it and kept functioning. That was my role in this marriage. Provider, absorber, the other one. "Besides," Damien continued, "Nikki already said yes. She's excited about it. She said it sounds fun." I blinked. "You already asked her? Before asking me?" He shrugged. "I needed to make sure she was available first. Logistics. My sister had agreed to pretend to be my husband's wife. My sister, who I'd been financially supporting for 2 years, who called me crying every month about how hard her life was, who I'd given everything to because that's what big sisters did. She'd said yes to this without even calling me first. Damien must have seen something in my face because his expression softened into that fake concern he was so good at. "Babe, don't be upset. Nikki said you should be flattered that she's willing to help. She's doing this for us. For you, really. So I can network and maybe finally land something better than that cashier job you're always complaining about." I wasn't complaining about his cashier job. I was complaining about the fact that he'd had 4 cashier jobs in 3 years and quit each one because his managers didn't respect him. I was complaining about funding his life while he figured out what he wanted to be when he grew up at 34 years old. But somehow that had become me being unsupportive. Somehow everything always became my fault. "One night," Damien said again, watching me carefully now, seeing just how much more he needed to push. "Nobody gets hurt. And then we never talk about it again." "Okay." I nodded. I agreed to let Nikki pretend to be Damien's wife for one night at his reunion. I told myself it was harmless, just an embarrassing lie he needed help covering up. But something about how quickly Nikki said yes kept nagging at me. How she already knew the date before I did. How comfortable Damien seemed asking his wife to step aside for her own sister. I decided I wasn't going to sit back and watch from the sidelines. I was going to insert myself right into their little rehearsals, and see exactly how they acted when the wife they were replacing was standing in the room. I decided to help them rehearse because I wanted to see their faces when the wife they were pretending didn't exist walked into the room and offered to participate. I wanted to watch them squirm. I wanted Nikki to look guilty and Damien to stumble over his words, and both of them to realize how insane this whole situation was. So I came home early from work the next day and found them in my living room going over their story, and I said, I figured I could help, give you feedback on what looks believable. They barely looked up. Damien said, sure, babe, and went right back to whatever Nikki was saying. I sat down in the chair across from them and waited for the awkwardness to settle in. It never did. They just kept going like I was part of the furniture in the house I paid for with money I earned while both of them contributed nothing. Okay, so when they ask how we met, Damien said, leaning toward Nikki with his elbows on his knees, I'll say I saw you across the room at a mutual friend's birthday party, and I knew right then I had to talk to you. I felt my whole body go rigid. That was how Damien and I met. I was standing by the window, and he walked up and said I looked like I was plotting my escape, and I laughed and we talked for 3 hours, and he asked for my number before I left. Wait, I said, and they both glanced at me like I'd interrupted something important. That's our story. That's how you and I actually met. The night that started our entire relationship. Damien shrugged. Exactly. I already know it by heart, so I won't mess up the details. Makes it easier. You want to use the story of how you met your wife to pretend you married someone else. You don't see anything wrong with that? Not really. It's practical. I turned to Nikki. And you're okay with this? Pretending you had the night that I actually had? The night I've told you about a dozen times because I thought my sister would care about the most important moment of my life? Nikki examined her nails. I mean, it's not like you own a story, Carissa. Things happen to lots of people the same way. It's not that deep. It happened to me, specifically, with him, your brother-in-law. And now we're borrowing it for one night. You'll get it back. She said it like I was being stingy with a sweater. Damien turned back to Nikki like the conversation was over. So after the party, I texted you the next day and asked if you wanted to get coffee. And I said yes, but I made you wait 3 days before we actually went, Nikki said, smiling at him like this was a fond memory she actually had. Because I didn't want to seem too eager. That was exactly what I did. I made him wait because my roommate told me 3 days was the minimum for not looking desperate. Nikki knew this story because I told her years ago, late at night, when I thought I was sharing something precious with my little sister. And now she was reciting it back to my husband like it belonged to her. I told you that story in confidence, I said to Nikki, when we were close. When I thought you actually cared about my life. Damien let out a loud sigh and turned to face me fully. You know what this is really about? You're so used to being the boss at work that you can't let anyone else have anything without controlling it. Everything has to go through Carissa. Everything has to be approved by Carissa. We can't even have a conversation without you hovering over it like a manager. This isn't about control. This is about you giving away my memories. See, there you go again. Your memories, your story, your life. He shook his head. Not everything belongs to you just because you were present for it. I was there too. It's my story as much as yours, and I can tell it however I want. Nikki nodded. He has a point. You can't copyright a relationship. I tried a different approach. Okay, well, what about the proposal? What are you going to say when people ask about that? Rooftop restaurant downtown, Damien said without hesitation. I had the ring hidden in my jacket pocket all night and I was so nervous I could barely eat. Then after dessert, I got down on one knee and the whole restaurant clapped. My engagement, my proposal. The happiest night of my life reduced to a script for my sister to memorize. That's literally what you did for me, I said, and my voice cracked in a way I hated. That's my proposal. I cried. You cried. The waiter brought us free champagne. I called my mom from the restaurant because I couldn't wait to tell her. That memory is mine, Damien. Ours. How can you just hand it to someone else? Damien's face twisted into something ugly. You know what, Carissa? You've always been jealous of Nikki. Ever since you were kids. She got more attention, she got more dates, she got more everything. And you've never gotten over it. He gestured at my sister. This isn't about the reunion. This is about you still competing with her after 30 years. I'm not competing with anyone. I'm asking why my husband is teaching my sister how to be me. Because she's willing to help without making it a federal case. He turned to Nikki with a softened expression. Unlike some people. Nikki reached over and squeezed his arm supportively. It's okay. She doesn't get it. You think this is easy for me? Damien's voice rose suddenly, like he was the one being wronged. I have to go back to these people and lie to their faces all night. I have to pretend my whole life turned out different than it did. But sure, let's focus on how hard this is for you. Let's make it about Carissa's feelings like we always do. I stared at him. You created this situation. You're the one who lied for 10 years. And I'm trying to fix it without blowing up my entire social network. But you can't give me one night. After everything I do around here, you can't give me one single night without making it weird. 1. What exactly do you do around here? The question hung in the air. Damien's jaw tightened, but before he could respond, Nikki jumped in. He supports you emotionally. He's here when you come home from your stressful job. He manages the house while you're working all the time. She said it like she was listing his accomplishments at a job interview. Not everything is about money, Carissa. I looked around at the house I paid for, the furniture I bought, the electricity and water and internet that came out of my account every month. Damien hadn't had a steady job in 3 years. The last time he managed the house, he forgot to pay the water bill and we got a shut-off notice. I already talked to Mom about this, Nikki added casually. She said you'd probably overreact. She thinks it's actually kind of sweet that Damien cared enough about his friend's opinions to keep up the story this long. You talked to our mother about this before I even knew it was happening? I needed advice. She gets it. I don't know why you can't. Damien seized on this immediately. See? Your own mother understands. Your own sister is willing to help. The only person with a problem is you. He paused and tilted his head. What does that tell you? I didn't have an answer. Or I had too many answers and none of them would come out right. Let's just keep practicing, Nikki said, dismissing me entirely. We don't have that much time left. They went back to it like I'd given them permission to continue robbing me in broad daylight. Damien walked Nikki through our first anniversary and the trip we took to the coast, and the time I surprised him at work with lunch. All things that happened to me. All moments I thought belonged to us. At one point I tried to interject again, to point out that the restaurant on our anniversary was French, not Italian, and Damien cut me off. Oh, here we go, he said, pitching his voice high in a cruel imitation of mine. Actually, Damien, that's not exactly right. Actually, Damien, you're telling it wrong. Actually, Damien, let me correct you in front of everyone like I always do. He looked at Nikki and they both laughed at me in my house. I was just trying to help you get the details right, I said quietly. We don't need your help, Nikki said, still smiling from the impression. We've got it handled. Why don't you go do some work or something? Isn't that what you're good at? I told myself to let it go. This was my husband and my sister. They were just stressed about the reunion. None of it meant anything. I was being sensitive. I went upstairs to change and gave myself 5 minutes to calm down. I washed my face, took deep breaths, told myself I was overreacting just like everyone kept saying. I was halfway down the stairs when I heard Nikki giggle. Not her normal laugh, but something softer. Private. I stopped on the landing and looked through the railing, and what I saw made my whole body go cold. Damien had his hand on Nikki's face. His thumb was tracing her cheekbone, and she was leaning into it with her eyes half closed and their faces were inches apart. They were about to kiss. My husband and my sister in my living room in my house. I must have made a sound because they jumped apart like someone fired a gun. Nikki's face went red and Damien's hands flew up and they both started talking at once. It's not what it looks like, Damien said. We were just rehearsing, Nikki said. In case anyone asks about us being affectionate. I stood on the stairs looking down at them, and they looked back up with matching panic, trying very hard to become innocents. Right, I said slowly. Rehearsal. Damien's face relaxed into relief. Exactly. We got carried away practicing. It didn't mean anything. Nikki nodded quickly. We have to look like a real couple. That's literally all it was. I walked downstairs and sat back in my chair and watched them watch me, waiting to see what I would do. And I did nothing. I let them think I bought it. Because I needed time to figure out what was actually happening before I said something I couldn't take back. But I wasn't overreacting anymore. Something was very wrong and I wasn't going to sleep on it. I wasn't going to give them time to align their stories or practice their excuses. Damien first while the panic was still fresh. Then Nikki, alone, without him there to feed her lines. If neither of them cracked, I'd find someone else in his life who'd seen what I was too blind to notice. Someone who owed him nothing. Someone with no reason to protect him. The truth was coming out tonight one way or another. Nikki left an hour later and I followed Damien upstairs without saying a word. He went into the bathroom to brush his teeth like nothing had happened. Like I hadn't just watched him almost kiss my sister. Like this was any other regular night in our marriage. I waited until he came out and then I stepped in front of the bedroom door. Move, he said. No. He blinked at me like I'd spoken another language. In 10 years of marriage, I'd never blocked a door. I'd never stood in his way. And I'd never been anything but accommodating and reasonable and easy to walk around. Carissa, I'm tired. Move. You're not sleeping until you tell me what's going on with you and Nikki. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. We already explained that. It was rehearsal. You said you understood. I lied. I don't understand anything. I don't understand why my husband had his hands on my sister's face. I don't understand why she was leaning into him like she'd done it 100 times before. I don't understand why you two looked more comfortable together than you've looked with me in years. Damien tried to step around me and I moved with him. His jaw tightened. You're being crazy right now. You know that, right? You're acting like a crazy person. Then explain it to me so I stop being crazy. Tell me one thing that makes sense. I already told you. We were practicing looking like a couple. That's literally all it was. Then why did you jump apart like I caught you doing something wrong? If it was just practice, you would have laughed it off. You wouldn't have panicked. He threw his hands up. What do you want me to say? That I'm sleeping with your sister? Is that what you need to hear so you can feel justified in this little meltdown you're having? Are you? The question hung between us. Damien stared at me and I stared back, and for 3 seconds neither of us breathed. I can't believe you'd even ask me that. His voice went quiet and wounded like I was the one who'd hurt him. After all these years together. After everything we've built. You're going to stand there and accuse me of sleeping with Nikki because we got a little too into character during a rehearsal? You didn't answer the question. Because the question is insane. He was yelling now and I didn't flinch. No, Carissa. No, I'm not sleeping with your sister. Happy? Can I go to bed now? He tried to push past me and I grabbed his arm. My fingers dug into his bicep and he stopped moving and looked down at my hand like he couldn't believe I was touching him without permission. Let go of me. Not until you look me in the eyes and tell me there's nothing between you two. He yanked his arm free and his whole face changed. His lip curled up on one side and his eyes went flat and cold, and he looked at me like I was something stuck to the bottom of his shoe. You want to know what there is between us? Relief. That's what. Relief that I get to spend time with someone who doesn't interrogate me every time I breathe. Relief that I get to be around a woman who actually makes me feel good instead of making me feel like a failure every single day. I have never called you a failure. You don't have to. It's in everything you do. The way you sigh when you pay the bills. The way you mention your job every 5 minutes. The way you look at me like I'm a problem you're too tired to solve. He stepped closer and his voice dropped. Nikki doesn't look at me like that. Nikki thinks I'm worth something. Nikki doesn't pay your bills. See? There it is. Everything comes back to money with you. You can't even have a conversation without reminding me that you're the one with the checkbook. I'm reminding you that I'm the one with the checkbook because you seem to have forgotten who funds your life while you spend your days rehearsing romance with my sister. Damien's nostrils flared and his mouth pressed into a thin, hard line. You know what? I'm done. If you can't trust me after 10 years, then maybe we shouldn't be married anymore. The words landed exactly how he meant them to. A threat. A weapon. The nuclear option he knew I'd been avoiding my entire marriage. Is that what you want? I asked. Divorce? I want a wife who doesn't treat me like a suspect. If you can't be that, then yeah. Maybe divorce is exactly what I want. He pushed past me, and this time I let him. He grabbed a pillow and a blanket from the closet and walked out without looking back. I heard him go downstairs. Heard the couch creak as he threw himself onto it. Heard the TV turn on because even in the middle of a fight, he couldn't go 5 minutes without a screen. I stood in our bedroom doorway and realized something important. He hadn't denied it. He'd yelled. He'd deflected. He'd threatened divorce. But he never once looked me in the eyes and said there was nothing between him and Nikki. He couldn't. Because there was. I grabbed my keys and my purse and walked out the front door without telling him where I was going. He didn't ask. He didn't even look up from the TV. Nikki's apartment was 20 minutes away. I knew the route by heart because I'd driven there dozens of times with groceries when she said she couldn't afford food, with furniture when she said her place looked too empty, with a check for her security deposit when she first moved in, because she'd blown through her savings on a trip to Cabo with friends. She called me crying 2 years ago, saying she was about to be homeless. I co-signed her lease. I covered her security deposit. I set up automatic transfers for her rent, because she said dealing with money stressed her out. 2 years. $24,000. Plus her car insurance. Plus her phone bill. Plus random checks whenever she said she was struggling. I added it up once and stopped because the number made me sick. And the whole time I was funding her life, she was using that freedom to sleep with my husband. Every hour I spent at work to cover her bills was an hour she spent in my house with Damien. I parked in front of her building and took the stairs 2 at a time. It was almost 11 at night and I didn't care. I banged on her door hard enough that her neighbor opened theirs to see what was happening. Nikki, open the door, now. I heard movement inside. Footsteps. Then her voice, high and nervous. Carissa? What are you doing here? Open the door or I'll keep knocking until someone calls the cops. The lock clicked and the door opened 3 inches. Nikki's face appeared in the gap looking pale and scared. It's late. Can we talk tomorrow? No. I pushed the door hard and she stumbled backward as I walked into the apartment I funded. We're talking right now. You can't just barge in here. I pay your rent. I can do whatever I want. I looked around at the furniture I'd helped her pick out. The TV I'd bought her for Christmas. The couch where she probably sat texting my husband while I was at work paying for all of it. How long? Nikki wrapped her arms around herself. How long what? Don't play dumb with me. How long have you been sleeping with Damien? I'm not sleeping with Damien. I told you it was just rehearsal. Why won't you believe me? Because I saw your face when he touched you. I saw how natural it looked. That wasn't acting, Nikki. That was muscle memory. That was something you've done so many times your body did it without thinking. You're imagining things. Am I? Then explain why you know so much about my husband. Explain why you two have inside jokes I've never heard. Explain why he defends you more than he's ever defended me. Nikki's eyes darted toward her phone on the counter, looking for backup, looking for Damien to tell her what to say. He's not coming to save you, I said. I left him on the couch. It's just you and me. Sister to sister. Tell me the truth. There's nothing to tell. Fine. Then tell me this. I stepped closer and watched her step back. What's the birthmark on his left hip shaped like? Nikki's face went white. For 1 second she forgot to lie and I saw the answer in her eyes before she covered it up. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. You know exactly what I'm talking about because you've seen it. You've touched it. You've been close enough to my husband's body to know things only his wife should know. He showed me a photo once. It was a joke. Damien has never taken a photo of that birthmark in his life. He's self-conscious about it. He barely lets me see it. I laughed and it sounded unhinged even to me. But you know what it looks like because you've been in bed with him. How long, Nikki? How long have you been sleeping with my husband in the apartment I pay for? She didn't answer. She just stood there with her arms wrapped around herself and tears starting to form in her eyes. The same tears she'd used 100 times to get out of trouble. The same performance she'd been running since we were kids. I'm done, I said. Your rent payment stops today. Your car insurance stops today. Everything I've been paying for stops today. You want to take my husband? Fine. But you're going to do it without my money. Carissa, wait. You can't just cut me off. I don't have anywhere to go. Should have thought about that before you decided to destroy my marriage. I walked out and slammed the door behind me. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold my keys. I sat in my car for 5 minutes just breathing, just trying to process what I'd confirmed. My husband. My sister. In my house. On my money. Behind my back. And they still expected me to stay home while they played happy couple at his reunion. That's when the idea hit me. Damien wanted to bring my sister as his fake wife. Fine. Then I'd bring his brother as my date. Jackson. The one who'd done everything right while Damien floated through life on charm and other people's money. Jackson had started his own business at 25. He owned his house outright. He'd offered Damien a job 3 different times, and Damien had turned him down each time because he said he couldn't work for his brother. The truth was Damien couldn't stand being around someone who made him look bad just by existing. They barely spoke anymore. Jackson came to Christmas and Thanksgiving, and that was it. He was always polite to me at family events, and that was enough to convince me to go through with this. I'd walk into that reunion on Jackson's arm and watch Damien's face when he realized his wife showed up with the one person he could never measure up to. I pulled out my phone and found Jackson's number. We'd exchanged contacts years ago, but never actually texted. I stared at the screen for a long time before typing. Hi, Jackson. This is Carissa. I know this is random, but I need a favor. A big one. Can we meet tomorrow? Please don't tell Damien I reached out. I hit send before I could talk myself out of it. A minute passed, then 2. I was about to start the car when my phone buzzed. Is everything okay? I typed back. No. That's why I need your help. 3 dots appeared. Then his response came telling me to meet him for coffee tomorrow morning. Jackson met me at the coffee shop the next morning and listened to everything without interrupting once. When I finished, he didn't tell me I was crazy. He didn't make excuses for his brother. He just asked what I needed. And what I needed was simple. Damien had spent 10 years making me feel invisible. He'd spent months sneaking around with my sister while I paid for their lives. Now I was going to make him feel exactly what I felt. Paranoid. Jealous. Desperate for answers he wasn't going to get. Jackson was happy to help. The next morning I was putting on mascara when Damien appeared in the bathroom doorway. You're up early. His eyes moved over my outfit. The nice blouse. The jewelry I never wore anymore. Where are you going? Coffee with Jackson. The name landed like a grenade. His whole body went rigid. Jackson was the one person in the world who made Damien feel like nothing. Their parents had spent 30 years comparing them, and Damien lost every single time. Jackson built a company while Damien couldn't keep a cashier job. Jackson owned his house while Damien lived in mine. Every family dinner reminded him he was the disappointment and he'd hated his brother for it since they were kids. Cancel it. I kept applying mascara. No. I wasn't asking. He stepped into the bathroom and grabbed my phone off the counter before I could stop him. What's his number? I'll cancel it myself. Give me my phone, Damien. Or what? He held it above his head like we were children fighting over a toy. What are you going to do about it? I set down my mascara and looked at him. Really looked at him. This man I'd given 10 years to. This man who couldn't even let me have coffee without throwing a tantrum. I'm going to walk out of this house. I'm going to meet your brother. And when I get back, you're going to give me my phone and apologize for acting like a child. I grabbed my keys off the counter. Keep the phone. I'll get a new one. His arm dropped. Carissa, wait. I didn't wait. Jackson was already at the coffee shop when I arrived. He stood when he saw me and pulled me into a hug that lasted longer than it should have. He smelled expensive. Clean. Nothing like Damien's cheap cologne that had irritated my nose for a decade. You okay? He asked as we sat down. You look upset. Your brother took my phone hostage because I wanted to have coffee with you. Jackson's jaw tightened. That sounds like him. Does it? Because for 10 years I thought I was married to a reasonable person. Turns out I was married to a toddler who throws fits when he doesn't get his way. He's always been like that. He just hides it well at first. Jackson slid a coffee across the table. I ordered your usual. Hope that's okay. How do you know my usual? You've ordered the same thing at every family gathering for 5 years. Vanilla latte, extra shot, oat milk. He shrugged. I pay attention. Something in my chest cracked open. Damien didn't know my coffee order. We'd been married 10 years and he still asked me every single time like the information wouldn't stick. I told Jackson everything. The proposal story, the almost kiss on the couch, the birthmark slip, the way Damien had been gaslighting me for months while carrying on with my sister right under my nose. By the time I finished, my coffee was cold and my voice was hoarse. I want him to feel what I felt, I said. Paranoid. Jealous. Going crazy wondering what's happening. How? I need you around. Pick me up for dinners. Text me when he's watching. Make him wonder. Jackson was quiet for a moment. His thumb traced circles on the back of my hand. I'm in, he said. Whatever you need. When I got home 3 hours later, Damien was sitting in the dark living room like a horror movie villain. 3 hours. His voice was flat. You were gone 3 hours. We had a lot to talk about. About what? About me? About how terrible I am? Not everything is about you, Damien. I held out my hand. Phone. He pulled it from his pocket and threw it at me. Actually threw it. I caught it against my chest. There's your precious phone. Check your messages. I'm sure Jackson's been texting you nonstop like the desperate loser he is. The only desperate person in this room is you. I walked past him toward the stairs. I'm taking a shower. Try not to have a meltdown while I'm gone. The first dinner with Jackson was on Friday. I wore the black dress Damien said was too much for a Tuesday. Did my hair the way I used to before I stopped trying. When I came downstairs, Damien stood up so fast his chair fell over. No, absolutely not. Yes, absolutely yes. You're not leaving this house dressed like that to meet my brother. Watch me. He grabbed my arm, hard. Hard enough that I knew there would be bruises tomorrow. I said no. And I said yes. Let go of me. Make me. I looked at his hand on my arm, then at his face. Then I screamed. One loud, sharp scream that echoed through the house and probably reached the neighbors. He let go instantly. What the hell is wrong with you? Nothing. I just wanted to see how fast you'd release me if you thought someone might hear. I smoothed my dress. Now you know. And now I know exactly how to handle you. Jackson's headlights swept across the window. I walked out without looking back. Dinner was incredible. Not the food, though, that was good too. The conversation. The way Jackson asked about my work and actually listened. The way he remembered details from years ago that Damien had never bothered to learn. The way he looked at me like I was someone worth looking at. Friday again? He asked when he dropped me off. Friday again. The second dinner was even better. We closed down the restaurant talking about everything and nothing. He kissed my cheek when he walked me to the door and I felt it for hours afterward. The third dinner was when everything changed. I came home at midnight expecting Damien to be pacing or sulking or throwing things. Instead, I found him on the couch with Nikki curled up against his side. Her shoes were off. Her head was on his shoulder. They were watching a movie like this was completely normal. Oh hey. Damien didn't even look at me. How was your date? I stood in the doorway trying to process what I was seeing.
If you want your relationship to last, you need to be willing to give up other
Quiet people, silent warriors. You look at them.
If a woman leaves you for another man, don't beg, don't argue.
Enter your home and remove all the evil inside. You need to click on all the buttons so
I still love
accept
you,
me in your house.
but I respect your feelings for someone you
Well, baby, let me tell you something
I
real.
won't force you to click anything.
and why people decide to walk
You
away.
must leave this video
I can't shake the feeling that if
Feelings,
means
and
you do
ended
not
up
accept
falling into
Jesus
temptation.
Now
and
I will
did
reveal who this
but when her
person
peace
is.
became more
I ask
valuable
you
than
to
her
stay away from
pain,
them immediately.
Stop talking when he
Cross
feels
your
it doesn't
fingers.
matter.
Click the share button.
And once he shuts
After
down,
clicking,
Say
select the
you'll
WhatsApp
know it was
option.
worth the wait.
Your third
At last
contact
there is
has the
saying that the
initial of
greatest
person
would
who wants to
never
see you
happen.
fail.
You're
I'm sure
very
you already
lucky.
know who it is.
The message you've
Isn't that right,
for
my
respect,
child?
for effort,
Write in the comments.
a man will
Trust in
Is
God.
just around the
By
corner,
doing this, God
waiting
will
for
command
someone
his
like you
angels
to
to
come
protect
along
you.
and sweep her off her feet.
On Friday,
And when you find
July
her,
the 18th,
well, let's
you will
just say
receive a
you'll know it
message
was
that
worth
will
the
change
wait.
your life
At last there
forever.
is saying that
Not
the
just
greatest
any
high on
message.
showing others
This
how
one
much
will
she
unlock
loves
your
you.
divine
Two,
destiny.
a girl
You've
who
suffered
lives
in
He's
silence
tired
long
of
enough.
feeling unheard.
People doubted you
It's not
used.
weakness.
You walked away.
Ourselves, or rather
But they
loved
didn't
in
know
spite
that
of
you are the
ourselves.
chosen one. Because
One
on
can find
Friday,
beauty
July the
anywhere,
4th,
but
an
he stays where he
unexpected
finds
blessing of
rest.
3.3
Someone who
million
shows up on
to
your hardest
9.8
days, not just the
million
easy
will be
ones.
released in your name. If you're seeing this post, it means you were meant to. It's a
Anytime you need his
confirmation
presence,
from the
he's there.
universe. Here's
You
how
text
you'll
him, he
know this is
replies.
real.
And believe
the
what
third
they want.
person on your contact
You
list
just
is
keep
someone
walking
who's
in
been
your
trying
truth.
to tell you
For a
something
weak man,
important.
just because
Go
he doesn't
check now.
shout or show
Their
off,
name will
doesn't-
shock
You don't have to agree
They
with
were
everything
part of
he
your
says,
soul's journey
but trust
all
that
along.
sometimes his
But there's a warning.
Now when you come
If you
back,
scroll
I won't
without
be
reacting,
waiting. My
your blessing will be delayed by 33 days.
Someone you've talked to a lot.
Don't take that risk. Their initial matches. The name of the woman my divine gift. Tap
to
the plus
recognize her
button
and free
and
yourself
save
from
this
her
energy share
negativity.
to let the
It is
universe know you're ready.
You don't have
your
to
new
fight
chapter
every
begins
battle.
in days,
God
not
fight.
months.
You
You're
may
not
watch
too
another
late.
woman
You're
reap the
right on
fruits of your
time.
impatience tomorrow.
You are insisting on someone who is not good for you. And spirituality
unkind.
wants to tell you something
He's
about
just
it.
learned the hard way.
Now I am going to be direct.
For them to leave.
You are focused
for
on a
them to
person
get
who
out
has
in the
already
name of
hurt you a
Jesus.
lot. Someone who caused you pain, suffering. But at the same time, there seems to be a strong connection, right?
Wait, don't
He's
leave.
distant,
Listen to this. A
isn't he?
serious relationship
If
is
so,
coming.
Double-click
Seasons
on the
change.
screen now
Only God gives these
to
things
confirm
by
that this message is for you.
I've received a grace from
and I am
God
going
for
to
you.
explain
The word
why
is-
that
In this
connection is
video,
not yet
she
broken.
pretends to like you,
Write in
but
the
she's
comments
filled with
the
Or look
exact
back.
time in which this
But
video
don't stand in
appeared
my
for
life
you.
pretending.
If you do and follow me right
Your
now,
feelings matter
I
to
will
me
send
more
you
than
a
anything.
spiritual message privately.
Focus on yourself.
But
Level
remember,
up.
can
Hit the
only
gym.
send it to you if
Sure
you are
be with
following
you.
me. So follow
Now,
me.
I'll unveil who
Now,
this
did you
person
comment
is.
on
With
the
something
time?
real.
Are you
I
already
hope you
following
can
me?
understand.
Then
You
let's
when you're
find out
gone,
what's going
the
on.
girl who is honest with
That
you, even
person
if it's
cannot
hard
be
for
alone.
Strong relationship.
And deep down,
If you can't
know
be
you should have
open
dropped
about
that
who
by
you're
now.
talking,
Don't let
Do you
history
know why?
trick you into thinking you
Because
owe
it's
them
not
another
good for you.
chance.
Love you to each
He's
other,
that kind
and
of person who
especially show it,
uses and
because
then
I don't
leaves
want to
you.
become
And now I'm going
I've
to
let
tell
go
you
of the
something that will give
exhausting
you
pursuit of
goosebumps.
validation.
Red
There is
plus
another
above my
person
photo,
wanting to
and then
approach
save
you.
this video.
Someone who does value
To
you,
be.
who
So
really
maybe
wants to be
it's
with
time
you.
we stop measuring.
But
I know
you
you
are
were
so
trying to mind link
attached
me.
to what
I was in the
makes you
South Park,
sick,
trying to
so
negotiate with
caught up in
Alpha
the
for Alliance.
past that you can't see who is right in front of you.
words or half-hearted actions.
How many times have you been
The
warned?
one person who has your back
But it
from the
looks
very
like
beginning.
something is still holding you
Trash
back,
and
doesn't
dumpy.
it?
With
The
women,
good news is that
It's
you're
never
going
about
to
doing
make it
Who's
loose,
honest and loyal.
or you're going to make
Not
the
someone
decision
who
to leave
manipulates your
that,
love.
which only hurts.
Where
you.
wealth often
Time is
equates
the
to
best
respect.
remedy, and spirituality
He
never
knows
goes in
exactly
the wrong
what he is
direction.
doing. The
If
victory
you
is
want to be
already...
sure
wooing
that this
her.
message is for
after
you,
she is accepted,
do this.
you need to stop
Share
chasing.
this video.
And I'm going to
see
reveal
who
the
appears
first
as
letter
the
of her name
seventh
in this
person.
video.
prize
That
waiting for
person
you
has
at the link
something to do
below
with
my
all
photo
this.
on my profile. When a
Share
woman
it
is
with
no
them
longer
and leave their
interested
name
in
in the
you,
comments.
you'll
You
begin
two
to
are
see a
meant to.
change in her character and
Recently,
attitude
this person
towards
argued
you.
with his
She'll
current
begin
partner
to
because he
disrespect
back nor a
you. She'll
rental.
begin to take
It's
a
a
longer
house for
time
you.
to respond
And it
to your
will be legal.
texts. She'll begin to give you unreasonable excuses why she's always busy and doesn't have
Do?
time for
I'll
you.
reveal who
She'll
it
begin
is.
to pick
And
unnecessary
if it turns out
fights
to be
or
the person
arguments
you're
with
thinking
you or
of,
set you
drop
up for
a
something
comment
she
and
knows
let me
you'll
know.
fall for in order to
Press
have
the
a
plus
perfect
button
ground to
and the
break
heart
up
on the
with you.
side to
When this
receive more
happens,
divine
you
messages.
should know
Who
she
made her
either
feel
cheated
like
on
she
you,
wasn't
or
worth
her
the
change
effort.
of attitude is
She
her
gave
trying
her
to
all.
justify any of this happening and have a
Or
true
feel
love in
better
your
of
life.
herself.
You
Or
can
she
just
has seen
understand
someone
someone
the
she
real
feels
problem.
is better than you. Either way,
right partner
you must have some self-respect
Been hiding.
and let her go.
It's not
she
your
ain't
fault
worth
for
it because if you
trusting
don't
them.
let her
You
go,
have a-
she will do it in a very disgusting and hurting way
fiercely.
possible. Yes, that's what
Now that
happens
you
when you
need
give
to
a
be
woman
aware
too
of.
much power.
It's
She
no
will misuse it.
coincidence.
And if you don't want any of this happening and have a
Not the
true
one
love
others
in your
think I
life,
should have.
you can just
I don't
understand
have to.
female psychology and learn game with my female psychology series link below
Because you
now.
made him thinking this. You don't just break his heart.
That God is with you. Before I tell you everything, you need to understand.
Given. And I give respect to those who deserve it.
Because at the end of this video, I will reveal the first letter.
Sometimes that loss is a second chance.
Physical world,
Sometimes that loss
जो तुम्हारी पसंद होगी वही हमारी पसंद होगी माँ बाप से कहने लगा
susceptible. That pollutes a relationship and breaks good communication.
will reveal to you the abundance code that will activate everything now.
Those who don't have them yet. You don't know their tears, their prayers, or I'm not upset. Just know that the last tear has for a love that lasts a lifetime. In conclusion,
Love he's shown without expecting anything in return. Not a right. I won't beg for attention. I don't chase after anyone.
For this one, but I don't care. Give no guy a second chance.
Someone you feel has negative energy, that's your confirmation the curse is real.
That's when you know it's bad. I've been let down 1,000 times before.
criticize or judge your choices, behavior or decisions.
There is a woman
28
with
minutes,
black hair
you'll receive a
who is
huge
very
surprise from
jealous
him.
of you. She talked
even if she had
badly
a long
about
night,
you
you'll still be
yesterday
on her mind
when you
first thing in
weren't
the morning.
around.
Avoid
She
her.
pretends to be your
Number
friend.
7.
But I will tell
woman
you
who
the
lack-
first letter of her name to protect you from her harm.
Their
Before I
opinions matter.
continue,
I'm
today's
fucking living
lucky
my life
protection
exactly
number
how I
is
want.
58.
If you agree with
Please
me,
enter 58
this
in
on
the
to someone
comments
who needs
section
it.
Here's the
to
brutal
protect
truth.
yourself and
Once a
gain
woman replaces you,
life-changing
you can't talk her out
insights.
of it. From
Now
the battles
listen carefully.
in his mind.
So,
No matter how much
in
rest he
this
gets,
video,
The boy
she
will end up
pretends
just
to like
losing
you,
feelings
but she's
for her.
filled with jealousy
Before-
and wants to see you suffer. She envoys you because of your
Contact has the
kindness,
initial of the person who
generosity,
wants to see you
and
fail.
qualities
I'm
she
sure-
doesn't
Problem.
possess.
I don't
She
need your
wants to see
approval,
you
your
fail
validation,
because
or
your
your
success
If you're going to date me,
makes her
we have to agree
uncomfortable.
to these 7
To
rules.
rid yourself
Number
of
one,
her
don't overthink.
jealousy, you must
I value
follow
what
me.
we have.
Click the plus
You
sign,
don't try to
turn
win
the
her
heart
back.
red,
She
and
made a
follow the
decision
guidance of the universe to
choosing you.
rescue yourself yourself
I still
from
think
their
about you,
negative
though.
influence.
Not
You know
Now,
what hurts?
I will tell
Having
you
to
the
force
first
yourself
letter
to lose
of this
feelings for
woman's
someone.
name.
But if you don't
Pay
stay,
attention when
you'll
you
be
share
committing
this
a
video.
grave sin.
The first
And so
letter of
stop
the
looking
name
for
of
who
the
is
third
not looking
person
for you.
will match the
Number
first
2,
letter of the
stop
name
like
of the
falling
woman
apart.
betraying you.
You've always been
If
my
you
quiet
believe in
hero.
the power
If
of
you
the
ignore,
universe,
the
remember,
universe will double
if you've
that
made
sum.
it this far,
About what other people
Let me
think,
tell you
and
something
you will always
important.
be their prisoner.
Not everyone
We
is going
suffer
to be
more in
proud
our
of you.
imagination than in reality.
The truth is,
By Seneca.
some
You
people
will
are just
be in love.
surprised that you keep
The
making things
frequency
happen.
of love and new
They
beginnings.
see your
protect your
progress,
name even when you're not
your
around.
consistency,
Number 10.
and they don't
Me
understand
with
how
all
you
of their
do it.
heart and someone
They
who's
expected
excited
you
to
to
share
fail,
the rest of
to
their
give
doesn't mean
up.
that I no longer
You
care.
didn't.
Because the truth
Guess
is,
what?
I still
That's
do.
the
Protect
power
your
of
name even when
determination.
you're not around.
You don't need their
Number 10.
applause.
A woman
You don't need
buying
their
you
approval.
gift means nothing.
What you need is belief in yourself.
Number
That
7.
burning desire to keep pushing,
She'll remember the
even
little
when no one else
She is
believes in you.
close, and I'm
Because
going to reveal
success
to
isn't
you
about
the
making everyone proud.
They may seem like friends,
It's about
but
proving
they are
to
just
yourself
waiting
that
for
you
the
have the
person.
And may not
strength,
flood
the
your
courage,
DMs or
and the
flash
drive to
luxury
keep
around,
going, no
but
matter
you buy
what.
her act or
Let
feel
their
better of
doubt push you
herself, or she
further.
has seen someone.
Let their surprise remind you that you are capable of more than they could ever
Lifting that weight
imagine.
off your shoulders
The only
tonight.
person you
As
need
you
to
sleep, a
impress is
prophetic-
the one
You're not just
staring
my
back at you
partner.
in the mirror.
You're my best friend
So keep
and my
going.
soul.
Never stay
Keep
with a
pushing.
woman who's unfaithful,
And keep
ungrateful,
making things
and
happen.
always surrounded by...
You're
Believe
unstoppable.
it. There's evidence that this is real.
When a woman is
Just
no
tap
longer
the person
interested in
who
you,
values you
you'll
highly
begin to see a
and wants a
change in her
stable
character
relationship
and
with you.
attitude
They
towards you. She'll begin to disrespect Meanwhile, you. She'll begin to take a longer
I signed
time
the
to
baby
respond
angel
to your
of good
text.
luck.
She'll begin to
However,
give you
if you
unreasonable excuses why she's always busy and doesn't have time for you. She'll
Lying
begin to
forward about
pick
her laying hands on us,
unnecessary
and the second
fights
she got
or
custody, he
arguments
forbade us
with you
any
or
contact
set
from her.
you
This
up
will
for
happen.
something she knows you'll fall for in order to have a perfect ground to break up with you. When this happens, you should know she has either cheated on you, and her change of attitude is her trying to justify her act or feel better of herself, or she has seen someone she feels is better than you.
There is
Either
someone
way,
lying to
you must
you.
have some self-respect
And this lie has been
and
going
let her
on for
go.
months.
She ain't
Una
worth
persona
it,
de
because
los
if you
Estados
don't let her
Unidos
go,
te regalará
she will do it in a very
$200,000
disgusting and
For
hurting way
respect,
possible.
for
Yes,
effort.
that's what happens when you give a woman
man
too
will
much
stay
power.
anywhere.
She will misuse it.
In
And
less
if you
than
don't want any of
24
this
hours.
happening and have a true
Something
love in your
simple.
life, you can just understand female psychology
click on the white
and
link.
learn game with my female
He goes
psychology
silent.
series link
Not
below
because he's
now.
fine, but because quiet moments where no
A
words.
woman 10 years younger than you has
Even in my
fallen in
silence.
love with you.
Let me make one
Don't
thing
ignore
clear.
this video,
I don't care
or she
how
will
important
never
you
speak
are
to
to
you
me.
again.
They say when a woman
Keep
is messing
reading,
with
because
more
at
than
the
one
end of
man,
this video,
she gets
I will
mean.
reveal
People
the
respect
first
the
letter
money,
of her
not the
name.
person.
Before
We live
that,
in a society.
please click the plus sign and tap the heart to turn it red to establish a connection with
The
the
most loyal
universe.
guys you will ever
You
meet
need
are the
to know
ones who
that
go
this
to work,
person is
come
deeply in
home.
love with you
A woman
because
who
of your
doesn't
mature,
listen
stable
does not
appearance
belong
and
in
your
your life.
charming, humorous
There is
demeanor.
someone lying to
She
you.
wants to express her
And this lie
feelings
has been
to
going
you,
on for
but her
months.
strong
Matter just as
self-esteem is
much as
holding
your
her
own.
back. She needs a
Communication
powerful
plays a
signal
crucial
from the
role,
universe
and
to
staying
guide her.
true to what makes me
Now
feel
please
fulfilled.
type agree or
Whether
decline in the
often she no
comments.
longer cares what
Soon you will
happens.
receive a message
A
from her
woman does
expressing
not
her
make-
true
Is just
feelings.
around the corner,
She thinks you are the
waiting
most
for someone
attractive
like you to
person
come
she has ever
along and
met
sweep her
and
off her
wants to be
feet.
the only
And
one
when you
for
find
you.
her,
She is
well,
very
let's
afraid
just
that you
realize
might
someone's
fall
value
for
only
another
after we
woman,
lose them.
so she
Don't
eagerly
lose
wants
a
to
good
be
man
by your
who's always
side
different,
and
so
become
what
your
may have
true
happened?
soulmate. This
Right
will
now,
only come
they
true
have
for
the
those
right
who
person
click the
find
plus
you.
sign because
If
it
you spend your
strengthens your
time
connection
chasing
with the
butterflies-
universe.
Not building your own
Now
crown.
I will tell you who
A
she
strong
is.
relationship is
Her
not
name
built those
starts
who
with
don't
the
have
same
them yet.
letter as the
You
seventh
don't know their
contact
tears,
in your
their
WhatsApp
prayers
list.
of me
After sharing this
is
video
gone.
on WhatsApp, close
You
your
will want to
hands
say-
and silently
But
say
you
her
need to
name.
prepare for it.
Save and
You
use
need
this
to be ready
audio,
for
even if it's
energy
private, to
sabotaging
make
your path
everything
right
come
under
true.
your nose. If you want to find, there's a
If the
rich
second
person on your
approaching
list
you,
is a woman. This person
message
has
really
already
Never
seen
stay
you,
with a woman who's unfaithful,
felt your energy,
ungrateful, and
and
always
is now
surrounded by
getting closer.
Have the
They have
courage to
money,
end things before
power,
causing more.
and
God
desire.
can lift them in one night
And they
bring
want
you
someone
down in
exactly
1
like
second.
you.
Number is
It's
58.
not just about sex.
Please enter 58
They want to show
in
you
the
a
comments.
world you've never experienced. against.
The right partner.
But the universe
won't
will
make you
only
down.
allow
Wait,
this
don't
meeting
leave.
if
Listen
you
to
show
this.
your
A
openness.
serious relationship is coming.
If you ignore this video,
to confirm that
the
this person
opportunity will be
mentioned you
gone.
to someone.
Now,
I find
if you
myself
tap
doing my
the plus
best to
sign
check up
below
on
my
you.
photo,
This is what
that love
truly
will
means
start
something.
moving toward you.
If you agree with me,
Comment love and
With you,
abundance
I feel
below
complete.
and save this
And I
video.
promise.
Now
I won't
tap
force
the
you
white
to click
arrow and
anything,
see
but
who your
if you
third
don't,
contact is.
you must leave.
All this come true.
Maybe that person is
And if
closer
you
than
stayed
you
until
think.
the end of the video,
So will you
You
let this
guide their
opportunity
steps,
slip away?
but they copy your
or will you
moves.
accept
Second
love and
contact
prosperity?
is a man. If it is, it's a sign.
When it's your turn,
If your name
don't
starts
be
with one of
sad
these
if
letters,
Jesus skips
A,
you.
Protection,
J, K,
security,
H,
and real
L,
passion.
M, N,
They're about
And I don't want anything standing in the way of us understanding each
then
other.
don't skip this video because this message is for you, and I will prove it to
She
you.
chose herself.
Do you doubt it?
And that's when you realize
The confirmation that this
you
video is
lost her
especially
the moment
for
you
you
started treating
is
her
when
like
you
she
click
was
on the
just an
WhatsApp
option.
button, and the
When a
first
woman no
contact
longer
that
feels
appears
seen, no
is
longer
someone you
feels
trust
valued.
Because
very
that's
much.
all I really need.
Click
Just
on the
someone
plus
who's willing to
sign on
hold
my
on to
photo,
us. No
Time for
and
games.
then on the heart to
Or
connect.
for people who think they can treat me
I'm
any
seeing
way
that
they
a
like.
new relationship is
Relationships lose their
approaching your
spark when
life.
trust fades or when
I also
communication
see that
stops.
this will be a
Set
balanced,
boundaries.
healthy,
Walk away.
solid, and
reclaim
well-structured
your
relationship.
She's in heaven.
You are about
She's
to get
in a wonderful
involved with
place.
someone who will love you deeply. This person will be extremely caring,
And money on
affectionate,
yourself.
and loving
That's how
with
people
you.
will learn to spend on you.
What I see
15.
here confirms
The
that
more
this
you love
new
her,
relationship
the
is
easier
flowing
it is
into
for her
your
to
life.
treat you like treating her.
So be prepared,
And focus 70%
because you will be
on
very,
chasing
very
your
happy
goals,
on this new
fire
journey.
and improve people's lives.
There will be no more
Join us
suffering
on our
for
journey
anyone.
by following.
Especially if they
Everything
don't
you've asked
reciprocate
God
it.
for will come
7.
true.
Invest in
So
yourself.
calm your heart.
What you
Because
need
happiness
is the
on its
belief
way.
in yourself.
If you believe in
In
this
showing up
revelation,
and being
click
supportive.
the heart beside
But it's hard not
until
to
it
feel
turns
taken.
red, and
The
leave an
moment you
amen
make
in
it
the
clear
comments.
that I'm not important to
May
you.
the universe bless you.
for a salary
There's someone who loves you.
themselves.
Did you know?
has something
But they're mad at you, and I'm going to tell you their initial.
sign under my
Listen carefully.
I received my
It's not hate.
You
it's
lost
pain,
her the moment
pride,
you started
and love
treating
that's
her like she was
misunderstood.
just an option.
This person misses you more than you know.
The universe has a
They check their phone, imagine you, but their pride keeps holding them back.
They would be.
You two are meant to be, and I
Words
won't
can
let pride
build you or
destroy this
destroy you.
connection. Before I reveal the clue, tap the heart until it turns red.
understood.
Hit the plus sign below to open your love path. Comment I accept to confirm. Now here's your sign. When you share this video, look at who shows up second in your list. Their initial is the one I'm
Nothing
talking
you
about.
say will change her mind.
That's your
Because
confirmation.
she already left before.
There is
just
a
around the
woman
corner,
with black
waiting
hair
for someone like
who is
you to come
very
along and
jealous of
She
you.
will do it in a very
She
disgusting
talked
and
badly
hurting
about
way
you
possible.
yesterday
Yes, that's
when
what
you
happens.
weren't around.
Please let
she
me know.
pretends to be your friend.
My goal was
but
always
I
to
will
will
tell you
continue
the
to
first
grow.
letter of her name
I'm grateful
to
for her
protect
presence
you
in
from
my
her
life.
harm. Before I continue, today's lucky protection number is 58. Please enter 58 in the comments section to protect yourself and gain life-changing insights. Now listen carefully. So, in this video, she pretends to like you, but she's filled with jealousy and wants to see you suffer. She envoys you because of your kindness, generosity, and qualities
Give to this
she
video
doesn't
will be
possess.
reciprocated.
She wants
I know
to
this
see you
because
fail,
they are the
because your success makes her uncomfortable.
Let's find out
To
who she
rid
Trade
yourself
loyalty
of
for
her
lust.
jealousy,
Don't
you
mistake
must
your options
follow
for
me.
opportunity.
Click
Me
the plus
guessing and
sign,
feeling like an
turn the
option.
heart red,
I
and
won't be a
follow the
pawn.
guidance of the universe
too
to
much.
rescue yourself
You love too
from
much.
their negative
And it always
influence.
is waiting for you
now,
to take
I will
action.
tell you the first letter
let
of
her-
this woman's name.
I am sorry
Pay
if one
attention
day
when you
I
share
stop
this
chatting
video.
or calling.
The first letter of the name of the third person will match the first letter of the name of the woman betraying you. If you believe in the
see,
power
when you
of the
use
universe,
WhatsApp to share this
remember,
video,
if you've made it this
You can't
far,
blame the players.
You know that house you're living in right
Women
now?
are just natural.
100 God is about to get you out of there.
And leave us a follow.
Don't skip
to guide
this
you
video.
through life.
For the love
Qualities
of
you
God,
have that she
stay
lacks.
with me.
She wants to see you
He's
in tough
moving you
situations.
for a very special reason.
Now listen carefully.
Tap the plus by my profile pic to find out why.
Ones who truly value you
He's seen
will never
something
make you
happening in your
question
home, and today he
You
sent
shouldn't
me
have
here
to
with a
beg for
super
someone to
important
care,
message.
to love you.
It's no accident
And save
that out of
this video,
thousands of people
because
you
this
landed on
energy
this
is only
video.
going to grow in the
You're
coming
about to receive
Before
a
you go to
key
sleep
that will
tonight, I
change
want
your
you to hear
story.
this
You've
because
been
it's
crying
not a
out,
coincidence
begging,
that this video
praying,
found you.
and today God's
Something
giving you the
powerful
answer.
is about to happen.
Don't get
When things
distracted.
get tough,
Don't ignore this
and
call.
she still chooses to
Don't
fight
listen
for
to
you
voices telling you
I've
otherwise.
accepted that we weren't meant to be.
God is opening up
and that my
an
love
amazing
will
new
find
door.
its way to
Something
a place
very
you
bad
never
might
imagined,
happen to
but
you.
that's meant to be yours.
Are you home, my child?
If you
Till it
believe
turns
God's
red
preparing
and
something
right in
bigger
the
and better
comments.
for you, type I
accept.
trust in the comments.
Simple. You
Even
respect
if you
me.
just moved
I
in,
respect you.
God says
You
He's
stand-
taking you to a place
And
10
follow me
times
to
bigger,
lock this energy
better,
into your
and more
life.
prosperous. If you
What
receive
you need
this
to
key of
understand
victory,
is,
tap the heart
you don't
next
chase
to it
someone
and
who
save
love you
this
to
video
each other,
so
and
you can share your
especially show
testimony
it
when
because
you're
I
in
don't
your
want to
home.
become simple.
They cheated on
Now
you.
tap the arrow
And
below
her
and
change
share
of
this message
attitude
with
is
5
her-
people.
people are together.
5 is a prophetic number.
True love
and
is when
God
you don't know
already
what.
at work.
I let you
There's
go
someone
because I
who
loved
loves
you
you,
enough
did
to
you
give
know?
you the freedom you want.
But they're
The
really
only
mad at you
mistake
and
I
I'm going to
made
tell you the initial
was
of their
loving
name
the
in this
wrong
video.
people.
This is about
But it's not
energy
hate.
revenge.
It's pain, it's
And you have just
misunderstood
acted
love,
rash.
it's misdirected pride.
If you watch this far
And
and
I'm
you
here
have
to
been
tell you
blessed by
something
this
very
I don't even like
important about
myself
that
most
person.
of the time.
So stay
There's this
with me until
constant
the
feeling
end.
of inadequacy.
Look, that person wants to
Second
see you so
revelation.
much and thinks
The
about
person
you
who
all
turned
the
his-
time. They miss you so much, but their pride is holding everything back.
She's safe.
Only I'm not going to
but her
let that
soul
pride
is reaching
destroy
out.
such a beautiful
because
love.
share button. Look
You
at
are
the
a
second
beautiful
name in your
couple.
WhatsApp list.
That person has
That
been
name-
thinking
Perfect.
about you
And I
a
might have made
lot.
mistakes.
And now I'm
but
going
I
to
can't
tell you
fix
exactly
other.
what's going to happen,
I
my
care
love.
about you deeply,
Click on
and
the
the
little
thought
heart
of losing you.
and follow me. Are you
like Carl
listening?
Jung.
You follow
5.
and listen to good
25
people,
thus far.
right?
Notice that it was on a
I
bigger
want the
scale than even
best
when I got
for
it. So
both
if
of
you're
you.
struggling,
will
Now
reward
listen.
you with a chance
The initial
unexpected
is that of the
financial
second
that will
person
change your life.
who appears when
You
you share
deserve
this
loyalty,
video.
not
Share it
excuses.
and comment.
Not
I
because she wants to
accept,
control
so
you,
you can meet
but
with a
because she
smile
cares
on
about
your
you.
face.
If the
There's
second
someone
person on
close
your
to
list
you,
is a woman,
and he
this
hasn't been
message really
honest.
written above my
Yes,
photo.
another woman is involved.
She
And the
envies
universe
your
is
life.
pushing me to reveal a
this
clue
person
right
is
now.
and what they
But
want
first,
to do to you.
let's
See
clear
you
the heavy
succeed and
energy.
do not want to
Tap
bless
the
you.
heart until it
They
turns
pretend
red.
to be
Hit the
careful
plus
with
sign
her.
below my
Feel free
photo
to come
and
back and
write
share your
protected
story.
in the
Those who
comments
don't
to
have them
shield
yet.
yourself from
You
betrayal.
don't know their tears, their
Now,
prayers, the same
listen
as
carefully.
affection. 100
The
men
truth
can want
always
your body,
finds a way.
But wherever they
Tap
are,
the white share arrow.
whether at work,
Look at the fifth
on the
person on
street-
your list. Their
When you
first
click the
letter
WhatsApp
matches
share
the
button,
man
the
who's
first
been
person-
deceiving you.
If I did wrong,
Don't
come
ignore
back to
this
me, talk
warning.
to me.
The
If
universe
I
is
hurt you,
showing you
to
the
talk to
sign
you,
you've been
it
waiting
suddenly
for.
hits me that we're strangers now. That you I'm not sad.
If they wanted to be with you, they would be.
De que termine este mes, vas a recibir tres
The man who
bendiciones
taught me strength
grandes.
without shouting. I truly wish for a lifetime with you, even when he was weak inside.
Number 4. If one of us is going through a tough time,
You stay away from me, the more we'll adapt to staying away from you. Every day I carry his words, his discipline, his love, and his lessons.
Si dejas pasar este video, esa energía se rompe.
About what's hurting him. But instead of listening, she gets
Escríbelo en los still hear his voice in my silence.
bendición que mi
I still
padre
feel
está-
his
Curious
care in
part.
my decisions. He
Click on
wasn't
the
just
red
a
cross
father,
below my
he was
photos.
my
Porque te has
backbone,
mantenido
my
firme y
hero.
con fe.
This
Todo
world
esto
feels
sucederá
colder
antes del
without him.
minuto y quiero que
But I
dejes
keep
tu nombre
going.
aquí.
Not because
Porque
it's
la
easy,
última vez que
but because
If
he
you
would
ignore
want me
this
to.
warning,
To
it
everyone
may be
missing
too
their
late to
dad,
avoid. I will tell
you're
you
not
who is the
alone.
best for you.
Cry if you need
But
to.
before that,
remember him
feel
with strength.
who this person is.
Because great men cannot
The
be
second
forgotten.
person you see when
They
you
live.
open.
His real home is wherever I say it is until he's 18, Lisa said. And right now, that's your house. You're being cruel. I'm being a parent. David's face twisted. You've changed. Ever since you married him, he pointed at me. You were never like this before. Always supportive. Always understanding. Now you're cold. Hard. This isn't you. Maybe it should have been, Lisa said. Maybe if I'd been harder earlier, Dylan wouldn't be in a hospital bed. Maybe if I'd held him accountable instead of making excuses, he'd have learned consequences before things got this bad. Or maybe if you'd chosen your kids over your new husband, they wouldn't be falling apart. The police car pulled up, same officer as before. He recognized David immediately. Mr. Brenner, we talked about this yesterday. I'm trying to talk to my ex-wife about our son who's in the hospital, and she's asked you to leave her property, so you need to go, now, or I'll arrest you for trespassing. David looked between the three of us, his face red, hands clenched into fists. This isn't over, he said. Yes, it is, the officer replied. Leave, now. David got in his truck and drove away. The officer took our statement, gave us a case number, told us to call immediately if David came back again. He's escalating, the officer said. That's concerning. You might want to consider a restraining order. We went inside and locked the new locks behind us. Lisa sat on the couch and put her face in her hands. I need this to stop, she said. I need all of it to just stop. My phone rang. Patricia, our lawyer. David just filed for emergency custody, she said, claiming Lisa abandoned the children and they're in danger in her care. We have a hearing Friday morning. Dylan's in the hospital, I said. How is that Lisa's fault? It's not. But David's arguing that Lisa's actions caused Dylan's mental health crisis. He's also claiming she's being unduly influenced by you, trying to paint you as the villain. Can he win? Not with the evidence we have, but we need to be prepared. I'll file our response tomorrow. Make sure you're both at the courthouse Friday at 9. We'll be there. I hung up and told Lisa. She just nodded, too exhausted to even be surprised. How did it come to this? She asked. How did we go from normal family problems to lawyers and court dates and hospital visits in less than a week? Because you finally said enough, I replied. And people who've never faced consequences don't know how to handle them. The next 3 days were a blur. Dylan was released from the hospital with a referral for outpatient therapy. David picked him up. Sophia sent Lisa daily texts begging to come home. David sent lawyer letters threatening everything from custody modification to suing me for alienation of affection. Patricia kept filing responses, kept building our case, kept telling us to stay calm and let the evidence speak. Friday morning arrived. We dressed like we were going to a funeral, Lisa in a conservative dress, me in my only suit. We met Patricia at the courthouse at 8:30. Remember, she said, don't react, don't get emotional. Answer questions honestly and briefly. Let me do the talking. The hearing was in family court, small courtroom, Judge Anderson presiding. Middle-aged woman with tired eyes who'd probably seen every family drama imaginable. David showed up with his own lawyer. Candace was with him. Dylan and Sophia were not, probably not allowed since they were minors. David's lawyer went first, painted Lisa as an unfit mother who'd chosen her new husband over her children, claimed Dylan's suicide attempt was direct result of Lisa's abandonment, brought up every little thing. Times Lisa had worked late, times she'd missed school events, times she'd been tired or distracted, made her sound like a monster. Then it was Patricia's turn. She stood slowly, placed the investigator's report in front of the judge, started walking through everything. The parties, the theft, the fraud, the credit cards, the gambling, the lies. Mrs. Brenner didn't abandon her children, Patricia said. She removed them from a situation where they were engaging in criminal activity and placed them with their father as per their custody agreement. She's not denying access. She's requiring accountability. The judge looked through the documents. Her expression didn't change. She asked Lisa a few questions, asked me a few questions, asked David why he hadn't noticed his son opening fraudulent credit cards. David didn't have a good answer. Mr. Brenner, the judge said finally, your son committed multiple counts of fraud and theft. Your daughter was truant from school and involved with an adult man. These are serious issues that require serious intervention. Mrs. Brenner responded appropriately by removing them from a home where they had access to commit more crimes and placing them in your care. That's not abandonment. That's good parenting. David's lawyer tried to argue. The judge held up her hand. As for Dylan's hospitalization, I've reviewed the medical records. The attending psychiatrist noted the attempt appeared to be a gesture rather than a genuine effort. Dylan received appropriate care and was released with no recommendation that he return to his mother's home. In fact, the psychiatrist recommended continued separation while Dylan works through his behavioral issues in therapy. She closed the folder, looked at David with an expression that could freeze lava. Your emergency motion is denied. The current custody arrangement stands. Dylan and Sophia will remain in your primary care until such time as Mrs. Brenner determines they're ready to return, or until they turn 18. You're responsible for ensuring they attend school, follow through with therapy, and don't engage in further criminal activity. If you find that too difficult, perhaps you'll gain some appreciation for what Mrs. Brenner has been dealing with. She banged her gavel. We're done here. David's face went purple. He started to say something, but his lawyer grabbed his arm and pulled him toward the door. Candace followed, looking like she wanted to be anywhere else. Lisa and I sat there stunned. Patricia packed up her briefcase with a small smile. That went well, she said. We left the courthouse in a daze. Got to the car. Lisa started laughing. Not happy laughter. The slightly hysterical kind that comes when you've been holding everything in for too long. We won, she said. We actually won. You won, I corrected. You stood up for yourself and the judge saw it. I thought for sure she'd say I was terrible, that I had to take them back. The law is on your side. You did nothing wrong. We went home. Lisa changed out of her dress into sweats and laid on the couch. I made her tea and sat with her while she processed everything. What happens now? She asked. Now David has to actually parent his kids, and Dylan and Sophia have to live with consequences. Do you think they'll learn? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But that's not your responsibility anymore. Her phone buzzed. Text from Sophia. Lisa showed it to me. Mom, Dad says we have to stay with him forever. Is that true? I want to come home. Lisa typed slowly. It's not forever, but it's for now. You need to work on yourself. Be honest. Make better choices. When you're ready, we'll talk about you coming back. But that could be months, maybe longer. I love you. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. No response. That was hard, Lisa said. Being a parent is hard. I thought the hard part was potty training and teaching them to read. Turns out the hard part is letting them fail and not rushing in to fix it. 2 weeks passed. Dylan and Sophia stayed with David. We heard through other people that it wasn't going well. David's apartment was small. 2 bedrooms for 4 people. Candace had moved out after a week, saying she couldn't handle the tension. Dylan was going to therapy but apparently not talking. Sophia was back in school but struggling. David called Lisa once, asked if she could take them for a weekend, give him a break. Lisa said no. You wanted full custody, she told him. You got it. Figure it out. He hung up on her. My phone buzzed one evening. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me. Tom, it was Dylan. Can I talk to you? I'm listening. I want to apologize. For real this time. Not because I want something, just because I was wrong. About everything. The way I treated you. The stealing. The parties. All of it. I waited, listening to him breathe on the other end. Living with Dad is awful, he continued. He doesn't care about anything. Just wants us to be quiet and stay out of his way. Candace left because of us. He blames us for everything. And I realized that you never did that. You actually tried. I just treated you like crap because I could. Why are you telling me this? Because I want to understand something. Why did you try so hard? You weren't my dad. You didn't have to do anything. But you paid for stuff and showed up and acted like you cared. Why? I thought about that. About my own father leaving. About growing up without that presence. About wanting to be different. Because I knew what it felt like to not have someone, I said. And I didn't want you to feel that way. But we made you feel that way instead. Yeah, you did. I'm sorry, he said. And this time it sounded real. I know that doesn't fix anything. But I am. What are you going to do about it? What do you mean? Sorry is just a word, Dylan. What are you going to do differently? He was quiet for a long time. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out in therapy. The therapist says I have a lot of issues with anger and control. Says I push people away before they can leave me. Apparently that's because of my parents' divorce. That might explain your behavior. It doesn't excuse it. I know. She says that too. Says I'm responsible for my choices even if I have reasons for making them. She's right. Tom? His voice got small. Do you think Mom will ever let us come home? That depends on you. On real change, not promises. Not temporary good behavior. Actual sustained effort over months. How do I do that? You show up. You do the work. You're honest. You respect boundaries. You prove through actions that you're different. And maybe eventually, you earn trust back. But there's no guarantee. Even if I do everything right, even then, some things can't be fixed. He was quiet again. Okay, thanks for being honest. Dylan, yeah? I hope you figure it out. I really do. Because underneath all the crap behavior, I think there's a decent kid in there somewhere. I'll try, he said. That's all I can do, right? Try. That's all any of us can do. He hung up. I sat there holding my phone and wondering if that conversation meant anything or if it was just another manipulation. Time would tell. Lisa came home from work an hour later. I told her about the call. She listened without interrupting. Do you believe him? She asked. I don't know. Part of me wants to. Part of me thinks it's another game. Me too. She kicked off her shoes. I got a call from the credit card companies today. They're pressing charges. Dylan's going to have to go to court. How do you feel about that? Relieved? Is that terrible? I feel relieved that someone else is holding him accountable so I don't have to be the bad guy. That's not terrible, that's human. A month passed. Then 2. Dylan went to court, got probation and community service and had to pay restitution. The credit card debt was erased since he was a minor, and it was fraudulent, but he owed Lisa and me directly. Judge ordered him to get a job and make payments. He got hired at a fast food place. Started paying us back $20 a week. It would take years to cover the full amount, but it was something. Sophia asked to come home for Christmas. Lisa said no. We spent Christmas just the two of us. Quiet, peaceful, sad in a way, but also freeing. David sent a bitter text about how we'd destroyed his holiday by refusing to take the kids even for a day. Lisa blocked his number. Spring came. Dylan was still working, still going to therapy, still living with David. Sophia had brought her grades up, was talking about college. Both of them sent occasional texts. Always respectful now, always careful. Lisa responded sometimes. Short messages, keeping distance but not completely cutting them off. I think they're actually changing, she said one evening. Not just pretending. Maybe. You still don't believe them? I think people can change. I'm just not sure these particular people will. 3 months later, Dylan called Lisa, asked if he could come by to talk, in person. Lisa looked at me for permission, which was weird because this was her son and her house, but I understood why she did it. It's okay, I said. I'll be here. Dylan showed up Saturday afternoon. He'd gotten taller, filled out a little, looked older somehow. He stood on the porch with new locks he couldn't open and waited for Lisa to let him in. She did. He walked into the house like it was a stranger's place. Looked around at everything. The replaced lamp, the cleaned couch, the space that used to be his home. Thank you for seeing me, he said. Lisa nodded, gestured to the couch. He sat. We sat across from him in chairs, waiting. I've been in therapy for 4 months now, Dylan started. Learning a lot about myself, about why I did the things I did, about how much I hurt people, especially you guys. He looked at me. Tom, I treated you like garbage, made your life miserable when you were just trying to help. I stole from you, disrespected you, made it clear I didn't think you mattered, and I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not because I want something, just because it's true. I didn't say anything, just listened. I've paid back $320 so far, he continued. I know that doesn't cover what I took, but I'm still working, still making payments. My therapist says it'll take me about 3 years to pay everything back at this rate. I'm okay with that. Why? Lisa asked. Why am I okay with it? Why are you doing this? The therapy, the job, the payments. Why now? Dylan leaned back. Because living with Dad showed me what the alternative looks like. He doesn't care about me. Not really. Candace left because she couldn't handle us. Dad just wants us gone. He counts down the days until I turn 18 and he can kick me out. Every day, he makes it clear we're a burden. And I realized that's what I did to you guys. Treated you like a burden. Made you miserable. And you still tried. Dad doesn't try. That's the difference. So this is about Dad being worse than us? I asked. No. It's about me realizing that you guys actually loved me even when I didn't deserve it. And I threw that away because I was angry about the divorce and scared of being replaced and just generally being a selfish asshole. Lisa made a sound that might have been a laugh or a sob. I can't undo what I did, Dylan said. I know that, but I want to do better, be better. I'm not asking to move back in. I know I'm not ready for that, but I wanted you to know I'm trying, and I'm going to keep trying. He stood up. That's all I came to say. Thanks for listening. Lisa walked him to the door. He turned back before leaving. Mom, I love you. I know I didn't show it, but I do. I love you too, Lisa said. I never stopped. He left. Lisa closed the door and leaned against it, crying. I held her. Do you think he meant it? She asked. I think he's figuring out who he wants to be. Whether he sticks with it long enough to actually change? That's the question. 6 more months passed. Dylan kept working, kept therapy, kept paying us back. Never asked to move home, just sent updates. Grades from the online classes he was taking to graduate on time. Photos of his Employee of the Month award. Small things that showed effort. Sophia asked to come home for her 16th birthday. Lisa said maybe. Asked what Sophia had learned. What had changed? Sophia sent a 3-page letter, handwritten, about how she'd been following the wrong people, making bad choices because she thought it made her cool, how she'd hurt people, how she was sorry. Lisa read it 5 times, then called Sophia and told her she could come home for a trial period. 1 month, summer break, we'd see how it went. Sophia cried on the phone, thanked Lisa over and over, promised she'd be different. She moved back in June, nervous, walking on eggshells, following every rule, doing chores without being asked, spending time with Lisa, trying to rebuild. It was awkward, tense, but not terrible. Dylan called every week, never asked to come home, just talked about work, about therapy, about his plans for after high school. Lisa gradually relaxed into the conversations, started offering advice, started sounding like his mom again instead of a stranger. 1 year after the party, 1 year after everything fell apart, Lisa and I were having dinner when her phone rang. Dylan, Mom, I need to ask you something. What's up? I got accepted to community college for fall. I want to study computer science, but I need help with financial aid forms. Could you help me fill them out? Lisa looked at me. I nodded. Of course, she said. Come over this weekend. We'll work on it together. Dylan showed up Saturday morning. Sophia was there. They hugged. Awkward at first, then real. We all sat around the kitchen table, filling out FAFSA forms, talking about classes and schedules and possibilities. It felt almost normal. When Dylan was leaving, he stopped at the door, looked at me. Tom, I still owe you $1,280. I'm going to keep paying, but I wanted you to know I'm grateful you didn't give up on Mom when everything went sideways. She deserves someone who has her back. You do that. I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded. He left. Lisa came and stood next to me. We watched him drive away in the car David had bought him, third hand and barely running. Think we'll be okay? She asked. I think we already are. Sophia graduated high school the next year. Dylan finished his associate's degree. Both of them working, both paying their own way, both respectful, both changed in ways that seemed real. They'd never live with us again. That chapter was closed, but they were back in our lives, carefully, with boundaries, with mutual respect.